Colin will give me the heads up. Hey, it's John and Rachel, and it is the YaJagoff podcast behind the scenes on a dreary, crappy, weather, unfavorable weather kind of day is what we'll say. So you were probably expecting us to be on a porch if you were following us and listening to us on the radio over the last couple of weeks. Porch Tour number 3 has been moved because, yes, we know how to pivot. So we are actually in the studios of Q92.9 and Steel City Media, and they were gracious enough to let us utilize their area. And if you look behind me, we even have a pretzel machine with Mancini's bread. Who doesn't do that in lieu of a porch tour? So we're going to kick it off. As you know, we show you the behind the scenes, all of the activity that happens, so you can kind of neb into the podcast and see what happens whenever you're not, watching, rather listening. So we're going to start with our musician. John, are you ready?
I think we're
Cue
ready.
The musician
Matt,
whose name is
Matt, not Mike.
Matt.
Are we ready?
It's Mike, not Matt.
Tell everybody where they find you before you even
my
start.
My name is Mike Swindell. I'm a singer-songwriter. And I have just put out an album. I'm doing some singles. I'm going to play one of my singles today. I got you guys a gift, actually.
Oh my God.
What?
I go down the St. Vincent de Paul, and I know and one of my friends, Bob, gave me this. So this is for you guys. There you go.
That is so
That
awesome.
is
I love it.
awesome.
We'll put it
And
up.
I got you guys an album, too.
Listen,
so
thank you
they're
so much.
They're like coasters now, but,
And any relation to Cole Swindell, we'll say yes and get
No,
some
but my
viewings.
sister tried to get some free drinks. She was in Nashville, so they were like, "You related to Cole Swindell?" She's like, "Yeah," and then everyone bought her drinks.
Oh my God!
There
I
you
mean,
go.
maybe
Oh,
you never know. It's a
my.
It's like Smith Swindell. All right, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All
So
right.
this song's called "Strange Feeling." I've been in the studio recording this with my drummer and had a bass player come in as well. But
got my own style, paid my dues. I did it the only way that I know. I got back, I'll do it all again. I've got my own voice, I speak my mind, and made a man out of me. I can see on the way. Yeah, and I'll be alright as long as I can take the wheel. I've had such a strange feeling all my life, all my life, yeah. Yeah, wake me up, it's all a dream. Oh, I can't believe my eyes now. What a strange feeling. Let's sort it out. Well, you're on. So I can't believe my eyes now. What a strange feeling. Let's make believe this all lives on. So I can believe my eyes now. What a strange feeling. Yeah, wake me up, it's all a dream. Oh, I can't believe my eyes now. What a strange feeling. Let's make believe that this all lives on. So I can believe my eyes now. What a strange feeling.
if that didn't wake you up, wake you up.
One more time.
I don't know what will.
Where does everybody find you?
Mike Swindell. I have an Instagram at Mike Swindell Official, and then Facebook, all that stuff.
We're going to talk to him.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah. So.
All right, we're going to chat with you later, so stick around. Awesome.
Listen,
Thank
that
you.
was a treadmill song.
Yeah, that was.
Do you know why I call it a treadmill song?
Because it would make you be faster on the treadmill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that good enough of an answer? Did you see how the guitar pick fell and John did not pick it up? I feel like that's a behind the sceners that his number.
I had a responsibility
like
to make sure it could be
exciting as it
heard.
gets.
That's
I understand. I understand.
I take my responsibility
All right.
seriously.
Did I explain enough, peeps?
All right, do it. All right.
All right.
So
So we're gonna start the podcast.
do you know what the letters MSRP mean? We usually hear it fast at the end of the commercials, but Rorik Honda takes them seriously. And since it means manufacturer's suggested retail price.
And that means that they do not increase car prices to make a fast buck during a time of inflation. Instead, they sell cars and build relationships. Visit RorikHonda.com for all of your vehicle needs. And now we start the YaJagoff podcast, not from Porch Tour number 3, but it is Porch Tour number 3, and we'll explain more, but we're at Steel City Media.
Right. And now if you're watching, this is where, or when you go to listen to the podcast, you'll hear this thing. It goes, hey, YaJagoff, YaJagoff, YaJagoff. And then we say, it's John and Rachel, the YaJagoff podcast. If you're listening for the very first time, we would appreciate that you go somewhere like iTunes or somewhere and make a comment, say something nice.
Yes,
or keep it
only
to
nice.
yourself.
Yeah.
And then give us a little rating. And we would ask that you subscribe so you don't miss it every Tuesday.
Yep. This is where we tell you about our blog posts. So the way it works, the way we roll, is that every Tuesday the podcast comes out, which means Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday need to have something going on Jagoff style. We are true. We're testaments of the fact that it's a term of endearment, right? Except on blog days, because we have to point out the stupidity of Pittsburghers. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. John does it best because they're typically drivers, typically parkers, and this is what drives John crazy. It's a true story.
You know, my big one this week was, listen, the Turnpike. So, you know, everybody complains about the Turnpike, but they raised the tolls again for like the 90th year in a row. You know, when you go to the grocery store, when you go to the mall, they say, pardon our mess, and everything's 10% off.
Yeah. Oh.
On the Turnpike, they're just tearing it up the entire time.
And then they hike
but
the
they hike the price.
That's a
It
good
should
point.
be like, pardon our mess. You could go through for free today. But
And I'm going to
no.
blow your cover and tell you that's what is even funnier about that blog post is that you had written it years ago during another hike,
Right.
and you literally just had to update
could
it
repeat it,
because
yeah.
because it's happened again. So
Yeah.
there you go. That's who the Jagoff was for you.
And then, you know, sometimes our families are not, they're not protected from being mentioned
Not
on
sometimes,
the blog,
ever.
right?
This is how I punish my kids.
This is, yeah. So I hate it when, you know, there's a countertop here and there's a garbage can right here. The garbage can is full. It's pushing out. It's full of everything. And someone takes and puts the garbage right here versus down there. Just like the dishwasher. You know, you put the dirty bowl here, the dishwasher down here. The bottom line is empty the garbage, you Jagoffs. Like, stop trying to push it all down and compact it. Just
I used
take
to
a
tell my
turn.
boys, like, this is your job. Your sister should not have to do that. And now they go, I don't know, Mom. You say everybody's equal and girls can do what boys do. So tell her to pull the garbage can out. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but basically that's where we are in my house. And finally, we did celebrating, as I didn't have my readers, celebrating International Beer Day.
Yeah, because John Craig Media and Fifth Influence, they're the ones who shot our little intro video coming here and taking over the radio station, and they shot us a little beer commercial, and because we have the YaJagoff beer at North Country, out of
international.
North Country Brewing, and it now goes all the way out to
They
Harrisburg.
drink it in Neville Island.
And we know it's a Champs up in Penn State. We
Yeah.
know it's up in Erie, and we know you can get a little bit of it over in Ohio, just over the border.
Yeah, it was cool to go into Champs when I took Roman to school and go over and see our beer there.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
So anyways, we had a little beer commercial, but the cool thing is the
Check out the
tap
blog.
handles are coming out and there's swag, there's glasses now, so that means the beer's doing pretty good.
Pretty
All right.
good.
So this is our Porch Tour, number 3. This is our 6th. Did you say 6th?
It's the 6th year, but it's the 5th year that we're really
Okay.
kind of putting it
of
into
doing
motion,
the
yeah.
Porch Tour, which is when we collect items for Zachary's mission, and these are items such as shampoo and toothpaste, because Zachary's mission provides Zach packs in honor of Zachary, who passed away before leaving the hospitals. But his parents were there, Rob and Patricia. They were there every day, every night, and they were getting the toothpaste from the hospital. They were getting the shampoo from the hospital, and they they wanted to journal. And what they learned from their experience was they could help others by collecting higher end items. And
Not
nowadays
higher end, but
just better, better
I mean,
than
the hospital
normal
provides
hospital
great
shampoo.
things. Yeah, but if you're not expecting to stay there longer than those few days that the hospital's providing, you want a little bit more comfort of home. So it's
and one of the things they do is provide notepads, gas cards, and everything. So they're a true and blue Pittsburgh type nonprofit where they're taking to kind of put their arms around others when they're here for unfortunate circumstances. So the Porch Tour is sponsored by People's Natural Gas, so you'll see that people are in our Call Before You Dig 811 green room, which is really probably the swankiest green room we've had yet on the Porch Tour.
Yeah, there's a couch.
Yeah.
We don't usually take the couch with us.
And games and all that kind of stuff. But the Porch Tour, if you win the Porch Tour, you not only get us and our guests to come, but you also get Millie's ice cream cards. You get Robinson Mall gift cards, Mary Mac Bakehouse stuff. You get, what else?
Leo Curious oil.
Oh, yeah, Leo Curious oil.
Pierogies. John is eating today's
Ernie Ritchie's sausage.
Pierogies from the Ugly Dumpling.
You get North Country Brewing beer. The one thing you don't get, and this is the first porch it's ever been on, but it should be the new sponsor, would be Borden's Dutch Chocolate Milk.
Wow. Thanks, Monica.
Thanks to Monica. Monica said she's going to supply one for every
there
podcast.
You go. But kudos to all of our local supporters who donate their items for the porch host to do. So since we're not at a porch, we think that if you want to send something on behalf of Zachary's mission, we can provide our P.O. box, or we could give our Venmo so that people can send that as well. And we'll make sure that you're listed and noted. And then we're going to pull some of those prizes. So you may win a $50 gift card to the mall at Robinson or a Millie's gift card for $25. Do you know how much ice cream you can get for $25? There's a lot of good stuff that we have. So by all means, it's literally at YaJagoff Podcast for our Venmo. If you want to send anything on behalf of Zachary's mission, we will see to it that Zachary's mission gets all of the proceeds and we will get prizes out to you.
The cool thing is when you do the math, what's the price of a toothpaste or a shampoo bottle?
Astronomical.
If you give $25, you can do the math and see how many toothpaste tubes you can get.
Right, but I was going to
$25.
segue to Gretchen McKay's story about inflation and how smart it was to do that because it's so hard to to feed a family of four. So anyway, we won't get onto that.
All right.
We bringing up a guest?
Yeah, I said we bring
don't
up
have
a guest
Porch
here.
Tour owner, so.
Dun, 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 dun. This is where you'll hear music, and we bring up our first guest, who is...
Bring on Leslie Bonci, our quarterly guest who comes on, and this is what I say every time, and she cracks me up because she's been doing this for over 2 years now. Come on in, Leslie. But every time she comes on, I get more nervous. I wear black because it's more slimming, and then I make sure she knows that I'm using oat milk in my coffee, and then she goes, oh, no. You know, there's... But she is... I'm joking because she is not judgy at all. She actually helps you to think more clearly about how you can eat more healthy.
And I just eat
things.
Hot sausage and carbs.
Leslie, I'm in a better way right now.
And Leslie, we did put this anti-Leslie monument up here because Monica, since we're at the station, if you're listening to the podcast, has this little cafeterium kind of playroom area, and there's a pretzel machine and is that a daiquiri machine, margarita machine? And Monica went over, and since there were no pretzels in the pretzel machine, Monica hung a Mancini's bun in there.
Why not?
So it's super
Monica,
cool.
do we know he called it a playroom? I just want to point out that John called this a playroom.
What else would it be?
I guess, yeah, it's an adult playroom. Leslie, why are you holding a Mancini's bun? I'm scared.
Okay. Because these foods, and people just say, oh my God, I should not eat them. It's a carb. All right, so carb is not short for carburetor. We're talking about carbohydrate, right? And so people look at this hashtag, don't dread the bread. Just stop it already. With all of this nonsense, these are really good foods for you. Right?
You know we work
Suns
with
out
Mancini,
or
so
not, buns out, there we go. The whole thing. These really, I am so tired of it. Yeah. All the way around, of people taking these things out of their diet. Oh my God, I'm carb phobic, I'm carb addicted. No, you're not. You're not lying in a gutter with a bagel and a brown paper bag. You're not doing that kind of stuff. Stop.
I love her.
Stop and stop.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why, Leslie, you're so smart, but you're also so practical.
I think that's sassy.
Yeah,
not smart, but it's okay.
Yeah, you are sassy.
But I mean, let's give credit to where is due in that you are the dietitian for the Kansas City Chiefs. So, you're not just some lady who comes on the YaJagoff podcast. You have some serious credentials, but you make time for us. So, I love the fact that there is no shaming. And we talked a little bit about last week on the radio show about just blender drinks and trying to get the. Do you want to talk about that a little little bit, or do you have something else on the agenda?
We could talk about anything, but so let's talk about score with your pour, right? So in the blender. Now, one of the things that I find is really true with my athletes is, I'm supposed to eat fruits and vegetables. They don't have enough time in the day. That's a lot of chewing to go on. So you can take those foods and put them in a blender and drink it down, and so there is a fluid, and then you're actually getting the produce along with it. It doesn't have to be the size of your head or helmet, but nonetheless, it's a really easy thing to do. I think it's easy for families to do that. It's easy for athletes to do that. Works.
And I love the fact that you say so very commonly, athletes are regular people, because I think we do that a lot too, right? We look at stars, athletes, people who are in the newsmakers all the time, and we go, I want to look like that. What do they do? And then I think they're pressured to come up with some aha thing, when in reality it's common, right?
Everybody needs to
simple.
eat, right? So we're trying to level the playing field that way. Everybody needs to eat. The real or the surreal, it doesn't matter. But, people say, I want to be the ideal. I want to look a certain way. I want to have a 6-pack. I want to do this. I want to have a 12-pack. You go buy one, you don't look like one, or you paint it on. So, and the problem I find with my athletes that want to do that, they're so focused on their physique that can actually impair performance. I've seen it too many times.
Oh,
really?
Let me cut out the carbs. Oh, I'm too tired to run up and down the field. You
I
think?
get that.
Smack. So, this is the problem, is everything has to be, and luckily I can run faster than some of them.
Oh, yeah,
Out of the
of
way
course you
before
can.
you get
Yeah.
tackled. It's like, why is she out here again being the wicked witch? But, this is it. And then it becomes so, it's not sustainable, right? And that's
Right.
what eating's supposed to be.
Yep.
Sustainable, and most of us don't have the income. We don't have the salary that some of those athletes do. So
Right.
we have to do it in a way that makes sense for us. Carbohydrates are not expensive food. So
Right.
we're talking about affordable too. Needs to be there.
That is so true. And as you heard me jokingly segue, but in seriousness, I don't know if you saw it, but Gretchen McKay from the Post-Gazette wrote an article this week about inflation and what do you do? Because Gretchen is very, most mothers, I think we think we're conscious of what their intake is in our own, right? But you're right. It is becoming so difficult to say, I have X amount of money. What am I buying? So she went to Aldi, came in under budget, under $200. Give us a couple of suggestions on what, and I'm not asking you to give a full, itinerary, but what are a couple of suggestions that you go, that's cheaper? I get that produce is on the rise. What other things can we be consuming?
But even there, it's because we tend to demonize and villainize certain foods within categories, right? So if you're going to buy fruit and vegetables right now, unless you're buying things that are grown in season, everything else is going to be a fortune right now because they're not in season. But can you buy corn that is frozen? Yes. Can you buy tomatoes that are canned? Yes. Are you still getting the nutritional value? Absolutely, right? So that's number one. Number two, and we've heard ridiculous things that even dietitians have said, is shop the perimeter of a store. What does that mean? You're walking around outside? What does that mean? No,
Walking in
it's like
circles.
up and down the aisles, because those are the foods that are shelf stable and less expensive.
Right.
So you can find beans, less expensive. You can find canned meats, less expensive. You can find cereals and breads. And then it's kind of like, does it have to be a name brand? No. Are they all the same on the inside? Yes. So don't worry so much about the name brand. Buy what is in your price point, and don't buy more than you need. The
that's a good
Cheetos
point.
were on sale, so let's buy 10,000 pounds.
Right.
I don't think so. Ultimately,
Right.
they will spoil. So, it's that kind of a thing, and that means also do inventory in your home. Before you go to the grocery store, look at what you already have, and what do you use.
Yeah.
It's not a bargain if it's going to sit there or you're going to throw it away.
Right.
I have 3 bottles of soy sauce in my apartment just because of that, because I keep forgetting when I go out to get it. So, Leslie.
I'm not kidding. I texted my family yesterday and said, do we have soy sauce for this recipe? And they were like, no. I should have asked you.
Yeah, you
Oh,
could
for crying
Johnny
out loud.
soy sauce. And so we just got done with everybody trying to slim down because it's bathing suit season, and now we're coming
And now
into
it's
that.
not.
Now someone else has an excuse. Well, I have to slim down because Christmas is coming up. Whatever. The whole idea is to just level this out, right? Stop panicking. Stop having these spikes and panics. Is that right?
Yeah, panic doesn't help, and making yourself feel bad doesn't help. And at the end of the day, we have to eat. We're human beings. I mean, this is what we do. And when people are starved, they're going to overconsume at some point in time, or they're going to seriously shortchange their bodies. So enough of that. I think changing the goals overall, but changing eating environment rather than say this food is good or bad. How do you eat it? I eat it when I'm an octopus in the kitchen because I'm standing there and grabbing from everything, and I only have 2 arms, but amazingly that still happens. So, sit your behind in a chair when you're eating. Use a utensil when you're eating. Take the time. We don't have to speed eat. It's not necessary to do that. And also, everybody probably has foods that they find tempting, right? We all do.
Sure.
So if you say, okay, I'll just have willpower. No, you won't, because it doesn't exist. Don't have those foods around. If you really want the ice cream, take yourself to an ice cream parlor. Have a scoop of ice cream, because they're not going to give you a gallon unless you're going to pay for that. You get it,
Right.
You enjoy it, end of the conversation.
And now, upon that conversation, though, do you then lessen what else you're eating that day? So, like, I found myself doing that. I'm just going to have 1 scoop on a sugar cone, just enough to kind of say, okay, it's not the greatest thing, but I'm going to have it, instead of 4 scoops. But then what? Do you kind of sacrifice other things, or do you say, okay, chalk it up and exercise more?
Well, so first of all, I wouldn't say it's not the greatest thing, because you wanted it. So it is the greatest thing at that moment.
Sure.
It's like, wow, that really tasted good.
Right.
But it's kind of this idea of swap out and swap for. So for instance, ice cream on a cone is going to be a carbohydrate, because it is, as is the rice, pasta, potato, quinoa,
Sure.
tortilla, whatever else it is on the plate. I'd really rather have the ice cream, although that sounds like a strange combo with the chicken salad, but who cares? Because maybe you didn't want the crackers with the chicken salad. Do that.
Yeah.
And then check that box off. Okay, did it for the day, and enjoy it. Instead of,
you go.
right, I really want ice cream, but or the people do this with the TikTok with the healthy Coke. Oh, I really wanted a Coke. No, let me take balsamic vinegar and soda water and drink it. How the hell do we think that's going to work? It's vomit material is what that is. So no is, if you put it into the day, you're not going to be excessive.
this is why I quoted her twice in different articles about how she's my favorite guest of all time.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
No, Leslie, you talked about athletes earlier, and is it 50-50 how you eat plus physical activity, or does one slant to the other?
If you're trying to make changes to the way your body looks,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So a lot of people will say, well, it doesn't really matter what you're eating as long as you exercise. So let's put that in perspective. I've taken up rowing. This is my new thing, and I love it.
the thing.
So I've been doing this the past year, and you kind of look at the machine and look what the calorie burn is, and I follow all these people on Facebook and say, oh, I've only burned 150 calories. Yes, that's right, because that's what you do. So if you're just burning 150 calories in the day, that doesn't undo eating a scone the size of your head. So exercise is important, but not for that reason. Exercise is important to support healthy heart. It's important because it helps with the muscle, and it helps with bone health. It's not a big calorie burner. It isn't. I mean, even if somebody runs a marathon, it's 2,600 calories. You'd be able to undo that in a pepperoni pizza pretty easily. So you do have to
good
make
point.
changes to the other side of the equation, but not, oh, I'm eating minimally and now I'm too tired to exercise. That defeats the purpose.
Wow. I know we could go from this subject to this subject to this subject. Saffron and Sass is happening. We took a little respite for vacay last month, but you're coming back. Actually, if you're watching on Facebook, obviously you'll know that it is tomorrow, and we'll have a new episode up on YouTube for people to view. But what can we expect? Can you give us a little teaser?
Yes, so we are going to be in the garden tomorrow, and really, this is it. We got to be thankful for people that are growing our food, because most of us don't do that. Maybe a little basil plant in the backyard, that's it. So that's number one. We're going to talk about the benefit of produce and hydration, because people think it's only coming out of what is in the glass. No. It's in the foods that you eat as well. So how are ways that you can optimize and strategize with the things that you eat and really enjoy them, and thinking about maybe some unusual ways to hydrate.
And
with
this
what's
is
on our
not
plate.
a
Such a
pitch
good
to
idea.
watch our YouTube channel, but I will
It is.
tell you that you can find the previous episodes of Saffron and Sass, and
Right.
the one that's the iconic in my mind is when they gave the liquid recipe for using beets. And
We just talked about this on the radio too. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
well, listen,
can't
let me
like
tell
beets.
you that the beet recipe that they gave for a smoothie is absolutely incredible.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you're right.
It's filling and it's refreshing as well. Yeah. Just drink it cold, though. And then it's a pain in the butt to clean your smoothie
Well,
maker.
and all kidding aside, but if you do go see the episodes live there, and you can see the different recipes they recommend, and then we have them on our G-Check column. There.
They're easy. If I could do them, they're easy. And they don't
It's true.
require a lot of shopping either.
That's it.
That's a
It's
good
wealth
point.
on the shelf. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Oh my
Nice.
God. Leslie, where does everybody find you, follow you, all that good stuff? And then we have a question of the day.
I'm
for
not
you.
giving my home address, but
Don't do it.
Yeah, no, my website is activeeatingadvice.com. On Instagram, I am Bonci LJ. Facebook and Twitter, it's at Leslie Bonci.
And again, you can find her on YaJagoff on Q every other Monday and on our Jeet Jet columns and with Saffron and Sass. Seriously, Saffron and Sass on our YouTube channel.
And you kind of
anything
have
we
to
can
guess
do
who
with
the
her.
sass is, but I think we know
It's
who
not
that
Jen
is.
Saffron.
I was just laughing because I just looked at the question of the day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Paige is very good at this, I will say. She's mastered the question of the day. Leslie, if you could be a fly on the wall, who would you want to listen in on? That's a really good question. Are there a lot? I feel like I have a ton that I would want.
Oh my God.
You know, all right, can
You
I
don't have
be
enough
kind of a
years.
little out there right now? You know, I would say, who would I want to listen to right now? Probably the congressional hearings.
That's a good one.
Oh, okay.
That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
I went straight to that too, yeah. It wouldn't be a bad idea.
And I wouldn't be a fly on the wall. I'd be in there
You-
with my swatter.
I'm glad
Bam,
you
bam,
said it
bam.
because you would not be.
Jeez.
Listen, John always says I could not work for the CIA. Neither could you, sister. And I don't care. I wouldn't want to, but that would be kind of cool. Leslie Bonci, thank you so much. Everybody follow her. She's the most amazing dietitian, person, and helper. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now we hear some music from Mike Swindell.
No relation to Cole, but we're gonna pretend he is. How's that? All right. Next up, Ron Smiley,
All right.
who we're not blaming for the rain.
Right. I'm going to take a respite and throw this away.
Do you like my new word, respite? Jen Saffron taught us respite. So now I've been saying it like crazy. Leslie, that was awesome. Thank you.
This is the Jagoff.
Oh, do you want to Lysol or are you good?
I'm good. I trust Leslie.
Right?
What's that? I'm sorry.
I said that's our cubicle right there.
That's
Don't
our, yeah,
even-
my bag and my
we don't have
headphones.
pictures of our kids or anything. We just have headphones.
I don't even have one, don't worry.
And we're so good
What?
to Ron Smiley. We gave him a
I
bun
know.
on a
So I was
table.
like, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. So, yeah.
That's how much we love Ron. So we could make all the puns possible that we're inside because of Ron, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to do it
Right.
because funnier yet, Ron, we had Ray Petlin at the last one.
Okay.
And ironically, he was at, so let me back up.
Uh-huh.
The person who won the porch tour for porch tour number 2
Yes.
applied from 4 years ago.
Okay.
I recognized the name after she was chosen. I said, I think we were there. She said, you were. Turns out Ray Petlin was there too.
Oh, that's funny.
And it poured that day. So it was his redemption time.
Uh-huh.
He comes back and it was 99 degrees. I am
Oh
not
my
a huge
gosh.
sweater.
Right,
But let me
right.
tell you, I was sitting there like this. Like they felt bad for
Uh-huh.
me because it was like dripping and we
Right,
were in the sun.
right.
So now it's like this joke with us that the weathermen who come on, it's just never working out. Here we are in Q92.9 studios, but it's not raining right now. So
Bring it all you want.
can
I got
take it.
Wordle in 2 today, so I'm good.
oh, wow. How
Ron,
about that?
Ron, everybody talks about when they
That's
go to
funny.
a party, they say, let's talk about the weather.
No.
But what do you like to talk about? What would if
Not.
someone approached you, what would you like to talk
Anything but the weather.
Yeah.
You know what? And
Sports?
Right. I find people interesting. So
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
talk about their lives.
Yeah.
Isn't it the truth?
Yeah.
Here's what I have to say, and I'm not even going to go from any of my notes. We had you on at the burger event in the waterfront, if
Yep.
you remember.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
When you first came to Pittsburgh in 2016.
Yeah. Mhm.
I don't think I realized that you've been here now that long.
Yeah, I just passed 7 years officially.
Wow.
And that's kind of like,
That's amazing.
not to make fun of it
Congratulations.
at all, but isn't that that's a long time in TV/radio land, right?
I mean, not really
but
here
not
in
in
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Right.
Not here in
Pittsburgh people
Pittsburgh.
seem to stay.
And that was honestly one of the reasons, the main reason that I came here. I never thought that I would be in the Northeast. Always during school when we were doing snow, preparing for snow
Sure.
or doing classes about snow. I was like, I'm never going to be doing that.
Yeah, right. Who
But
knew?
yeah, but who knew? You got a week to put a forecast together then, and now I'm doing it each and every day. So, but yeah, no, I think that Pittsburgh is a very special place, and it doesn't matter. All of the stations, folks stay here. The stations take care of us. People take care of us, and we love the communities that are here. So this is a place that I think a lot of folks come to when they plan that this is their home. That's how.
But I think I just loved seeing. I was remembering that was one of my first podcasts as well as a co-host, and you coming on. I was like, oh, I wonder what this
I could
guy's
not tell
like.
at all.
Yeah. Thanks, Ron. But nonetheless, like watching and honestly becoming friends with you and seeing how you have embraced Pittsburgh, I love it. And I love the fact, we're partial. PTL is so dear and good to us, and we can't thank you enough for that. But watching what PTL has become,
oh my gosh,
with one of you being one of those talents as to why, kudos to you for not only being a non-Pittsburgh person and coming into our city isn't easy all the time, and being accepted as a Pittsburgh person and really bringing so much talent.
And I'll say, and this might sound weird, but when it comes to Pittsburgh Today Live, oftentimes, like, I'm so thankful to be a part of that because I see the magic that David and Heather and all the correspondents are bringing each and every day. And they do so much work on that show. Literally, I just show up.
No.
And
I don't buy it. No, you're a good person. It takes a special person to really make that all happen.
And it is. And there is a army of folks that really does a lot. And, I sit there and, there are times when if I see something, you see something, you say something, but man, the work that goes in, I'm just so blessed to be just even part of that in any little way. And to see the magic that they do. Even this last week, they had an episode where we brought the beat.
We watched it. Yeah. That was fantastic. And we're not just saying this. They know. Heather and David are on our radio show every Monday, which is amazing to us that they take the time. But they were obviously telling us to look forward to that. So we DVR it, and if we're not watching it, it was amazing.
Yeah, no.
It had to be fun, right?
It was a lot of fun. Seeing it behind the scenes. And if I hadn't been able to go up, first off, we had storms that day, so it was very nice. And one of the great things with the team, the weather team that we have, Mary Hours came in early in order to man the weather center to watch radar while I was outside. So that wouldn't have been possible if she hadn't come in a little bit early. So, we always are doing little things like that. But then to get outside and to see the behind the scenes and how fast everything was coming together and how quickly it was, and you look at it and it's, I told some of the behind the scenes folks afterwards, I said, this would have been amazing for the network to pull off, and I said, if they had done this on the network level, everyone would have stood up and clapped for them.
Yes, no doubt.
And we did this here. I was like, you guys, really kudos to everyone that took part and had a hand in that, because really,
people don't realize.
People don't realize all of the little things that had to go correct in order for that show to look as amazing as it did. And they
to
pulled
be
it
so
off.
streamlined. Yeah. Ron, what kind of a gem is PTL? We don't get out much. We're from Pittsburgh. We've lived here all of our lives. But is there a Good Morning Toledo, Good Morning Hoboken kind of show? Or is PTL, is it a gem that we don't really even appreciate?
No. Yeah, I don't think if you go to other markets, and who knows how long we'll be able to keep PTL going.
Sure.
It's kind of like it's that, you have to, once you create the beast, you got to keep feeding the beast, and you have a higher expectation each and every day. So that's what we've done here, and they are having to hit it out of the ballpark. And the great thing is that Pittsburgh has the culture, we have the history to support something like that. I mean, even if you go to New York City or Boston, I think you would be hard-pressed to find a show that brings it as much as PTL does each and every day.
And not to talk poorly about the other stations, but have you made the barrier to entry so high because nobody else has come up with something to kind of go against it, I guess, to be something similar? Live programming is expensive, and so, but the barrier to entry seems so high. If someone would try to start a similar program, it just seems like you guys have such a track record,
well,
right?
It would be something different. I think at least I don't think you can just start up with a PTL. And PTL has existed in many forms over the years. So, but it's slowly been building up to this. And we've had some great general managers that have come through over the last couple of years, news directors that really saw this vision and said, this is what PTL could be. So I think that if someone else, another station or anything, I think what you would see is it would be more of a grassroots effort, something kind of like what you guys started with YaJagoff, you know, where you start off with just an idea and then it continues to grow and it continues to grow. I mean, you guys now are all corporate. I mean, look at this place. I mean,
It's Rachel's kitchen, by the way. We're just saying.
I didn't want anyone to know.
Right. In another year, you'll be on the stock market. You know, I mean, it's just like keeps going up.
so cute.
Right. So I think that that's what you have to
I
see
see.
is that you have to have something that slowly grows over time. You know, and the thing is, if you started this on a corporate level and you just started it without any type of identity beforehand, they're probably going to miss the boat.
I
So
see.
you
I
need that
agree.
heart.
Yeah.
You need that. You know, something special, and I think that's what both Heather and David bring to PTL.
All of
So
you.
it is a
Quit
journey.
saying just them because it is
Right.
all of you. You're
Right,
all
well, it is.
so
Right, yeah.
You're talented, but I'm like Leslie's nodding her head. You make people feel like they matter, and sometimes, you know, to markets like Pittsburgh, our news people are our big celebrities.
Yeah.
And to look at people like you guys and say, if you're in Market Square, you're going to stop and say hello. There's never been a time that I've seen you guys snub someone. You're relatable, you're approachable, and that's what matters to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you know, and it's funny because, you know, I think that each one of us, like, I mean, we know that people know who we are. You know,
Sure.
when we go out, they know, you know, they might notice us or something like that. I was joking beforehand. I have a big PTL T-shirt on. There's no way that I'm going anywhere else after talking to you guys.
Yeah.
I'm not walking into like
Shop and
Coons.
save.
Right. I'm not going to Coons
Yeah.
in this.
Yeah,
You
right,
know?
right.
Like that's not going to
There is
happen.
a Coons just down
Right,
the road. Don't do it. Don't do
Right,
it.
right. You know, and normally I have my book bag with me all the time. It has a change of clothes in it because if I'm doing anything with the station, you know, now I do have some smaller, you know, KDK stuff, and I'll wear those things. But
Sure.
you know, I mean, this is a big, huge billboard.
Yeah.
So we're not like walking into places and like, boom, I'm here, or anything
Hey,
like that. Right.
It's Ron.
You know,
He asked if he could borrow some of our people so that
People
they could
go
go
like-
in front of him. It's Ron Smiley.
They were like, that's
Right,
Andrew Stocky.
Right.
No,
Yeah. Right.
It's the better guy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we are, you know, I know myself, and one of the things that I always love about the morning team is that we all have unique lives. David's
Yes.
down playing tennis at wherever, or Heather are going to softball or soccer practices and everything else. So, you know, we're out and about, and I guess, I guess oddly, that's any person that you
Sure.
know is
Sure.
going to be doing that. But that's just our lives.
Yep.
It's great when people stop us and say hi or
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
like that. So,
It is.
you know, I've always joked with Selena that with the name Pompiani, that
Yes.
she, you know, I'm like, man, you could be like, you are way too nice.
She is.
really is
Right,
genuinely
right, and that's
nice.
how the entire team.
And Ron,
is,
I'm not
right.
wanting to tattle, but
Yeah.
Monica is on our next podcast,
Right.
and her request was Selena Pompiani. She
Okay.
wants to be on with Selena.
All right,
So
I
now she is
understand.
like a double
I
dip
understand.
because she
Yeah.
got you and
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
Ron, we on the radio show we play Never Have I Ever.
Okay. Oh,
And
gosh.
so I'm loading here that you have been here 7 years. So
Right.
let's play Never Have I
Oh,
Ever
that's a great
yet.
question.
Oh gosh. Oh,
Never
gosh.
have I ever
Okay.
yet.
All right.
Lead off the script.
So you've been 7 years. Never have I ever yet in Pittsburgh. What would that be?
Is there
Do
something you haven't done?
Okay. So Sheets gas
Yeah.
station.
Yeah. Sheets is in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I've never ordered food. I don't understand the whole go to a gas station and order food thing. So if you're from the South,
Yeah.
gas
You're-
station
I
food
understand
brings
that.
death.
Yeah.
And so, or at the least several days in the bathroom.
Okay,
So
yeah.
so you know, but
get it.
it's like fine. You know, you go some places. Like they don't let me out of the studio very often, but
Right.
like if I'm on a station story and we're going out maybe to Seven Springs or something like that, some of those small towns, the only like fast food restaurant that they have is the gas station that's
Yeah.
there. You know, and that was I'd be like, there's nothing to eat here, and the photographer would be like, there's a Sheets
Yes.
right there, and I'm
Yes.
like, I can't.
Can't do it.
But it's like fine, like I
get
don't
it.
I don't understand. I still don't understand. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm joking, but I still don't
Yeah.
understand it because they have like everything. It
Yes.
seems like
Yeah.
I've kind of looked at the menu.
They have chicken because everything's like within a
Yeah.
Did you say chicken?
Chicken. It's like
because everything in Sheets goes as
it's just shuh.
including the results of your eating there.
Edit.
No, but I will tell you this, that I can't remember. It was a former KDKA reporter. I think he's now in Philadelphia. But he used to flash pictures of being early morning at Sheetz is, as you say in Pittsburgh, and it would be the chicken.
The schmuffin.
The little bites of chicken.
Oh, the popcorn chicken.
The popcorn chicken.
Okay.
And he and I shared like a love for the popcorn chicken and the Polynesian sauce. But it would be like 8 o'clock in the morning. And he would be flashing pictures.
I just don't. I
Yeah.
really like.
I'm with you.
I'm not making. I really
We
just
get
don't
it.
understand.
That's so
I
funny.
don't understand. I don't understand.
Or
it.
hard-boiled eggs in like vacuum cup suction plastic.
Like,
Look at your face, right? Because I'm like, I want to do something healthy. I don't want to walk in and eat. I'm not.
But they
a
have
chipper.
like healthy things
But
there
it's
too,
a-
don't they?
right,
Like,
but
I
it's
mean,
a
it's
hard
like
Oh, yeah,
a-
do, yeah.
It's
Mhm.
like a fast food
Yeah.
restaurant.
Yeah,
There's no
It's
question,
Like
yeah.
you,
Mhm.
you
Yeah,
know.
but our favorite thing is grapes and cheese. Like we stop.
Ooh,
I look.
okay.
Oh, see
That
how my
sounds
eyes
good,
went to
yeah.
Leslie.
Mhm.
Yeah, but there are grapes and cheese. But the
She's
last,
on good behavior today,
last-
Leslie.
she knows. The last 2 times they've not been good. Remember, I was like, oh, there's like.
Yeah.
Anyway, we won't berate them anymore. Ron Smiley, for people who don't know where to find you, where do they find you on social media? Where do they get their PTL fix? All that good stuff.
Where can they
Wait.
see you in a PTL shirt?
Yeah, yeah. Online, way too many places. The normals, Facebook, Instagram. I will say my one account that's not officially associated with KDK, so I can do a little bit more fun things. It's
Okay.
my TikTok account. I still haven't solved it or figured it out
Okay.
at all, but
Go see Heather.
Right? Yeah.
She-
Oh my gosh.
Mary
yeah.
Allen?
Mary,
Or Mary, yeah.
Mary and Heather. They
Yeah.
do. And the amount of things that they do. That's
I
what
know.
I got to get up. I got to get my content up on
Yeah.
TikTok. But either way it goes, that's the one. The station hasn't taken over our TikTok accounts
Okay.
yet,
Gotcha.
so we could do a little bit more on those. So
That's
there will
hysterical.
be one day where you'll see, the little official check mark, and it's like, oh, they've gone corporate.
That's so funny. But the TikTok stuff is really fun.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, we
Yeah.
have not mastered it either, but
Yeah.
it is cool to see. And I love like Heather. She messaged me a couple weeks ago and said, "The TikTok you did with your daughter, where I can't find it." And I resent it to her,
Yeah.
and her and Mary did it, and I was like, "Damn, that's so much better than what we did. I'm never doing another one."
Well, and I think that's one of the things that both of them do such a good job with is that they're on TikTok looking at other content, and then they get
Oh,
ideas
yeah,
from
right.
that.
Sure.
I cannot. It's just it's too much information overload for
Oh,
me.
it's a
So
rabbit hole,
right?
yeah.
And so I can't. Even John Shumway is into TikTok. He's like. I was going to bed last night and for 40 minutes got on the TikTok, and I'm like, really? I'm
There
like, John,
goes
really?
reading.
Right. I'm
Right.
like, and then I'm like, what are you what is it like?
What-
What's
yeah.
his algorithm? What's his TikTok
Right.
algorithm? Like,
I am
imagine-
following John Shumway.
Right. Yeah.
on
I
TikTok.
imagine it's a lot less, booty than what's on my
Yes.
TikTok algorithm.
I have
But
a
I don't know.
feeling.
I mean, I don't know what is on, John Shumway's TikTok.
That is
so,
a good question.
yeah.
That'll be
Yeah.
our question of the day
Question of
next.
the day, right? What is on? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Ron,
so,
you are always
no.
such a pleasure. We truly enjoy you. You've become a dear friend. Thank you
Aw.
so much for what you've given Pittsburgh,
you,
and
guys.
thanks for coming on as always. Question of the day.
Yeah, question of the day, Ron. Are you ready? Well, you heard it because you weren't. Our
Yep,
green
I know,
room is in
thankfully.
quiet,
Oh, my
right?
gosh.
So if you could be a fly on the wall, who would you listen to? What conversation?
Okay, so I was thinking about this. I kind of
Leslie's is
cheated.
good.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's okay,
Leslie's was
that's
good.
okay. Mhm.
So I was thinking, especially I saw in the news today that Pete Davidson broke up with Kim
With Kim,
Kardashian.
yeah.
Right. So what about Pete Davidson or Elon Musk?
Oh,
The Pete
yeah.
There has to be
Davidson thing
all
has me
types of
baffled.
crazy and all types of just good stuff. Like, yeah.
Are you a train wreck watcher? Like and here I'll tell you why. Because John finds it funny that I think I'm intelligent, but I also love like train wrecks. The
Right.
Kardashians are one of them, and so was what's the one you can't believe I watched? Snooki.
Oh,
Oh,
Jersey
yeah.
Shore. Jersey
Watched
Shore.
it like
right.
it was my job.
Well,
like that's
see-
my thing.
Okay, so again, I just don't. I don't like. I never. I
Who
don't,
cares? Is that how you
right.
feel?
Well, no. I love the stories, but I love it more in a news sense. Like I never watched the Jersey Shore. I
Okay.
know it's crazy. I don't think I've ever watched like a full episode. I
Okay.
can't.
It makes you a smarter person. I promise. I promise it was bad.
At least
but
it
I
makes
was
you
like,
feel smarter because you're like, wow. But no,
Yeah.
and I've never watched the Kardashians either.
Oh.
So, but I find that the lives, especially of the Pete Davidson,
Yeah.
I mean they have, the magnetism,
Sure.
we'll say, of Pete Davidson, and you see him yourself, and you're like, huh.
Yeah,
How does
right.
that work?
That's
Like,
a good-
how
yeah.
does this guy?
Well, I'll
know,
tell
but-
you.
Huh.
I mean,
You know.
if we're gonna reveal things here, I'll just tell
Oh,
you
boy.
that
What
the
is
reason they
happening?
broke
What's in
up
that
is
sandwich?
the reason they broke up is, well, I'll show you the text messages I've been receiving
I'm
from
sure.
her.
John and Kim
From
K.
her.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what's
okay.
going on
Pete
right
and
now.
I don't talk anymore.
Oh my God. That's a great way to end the segment. Ron, thank you so much for coming on. That was a really good question of the day answer, too.
Thank you guys.
We
Appreciate it.
appreciate
Anytime.
More music.
From Mike, not Matt. And up next is our friend Jerad. Yo, you're fine. Oh my God.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Yeah, I love all black and gold stuff. So this is a funny story. Is that, well,
Yeah.
we're on the
Yeah.
on the mic,
These
so-
are these are the marathon shoes. So I work with the marathon as well every year. So I'm their lead forecaster. So I'm down there.
Yeah,
So
right,
yeah.
right.
So
Take a glass.
oh, thank
Leslie,
you.
I forgot yours. We get a glass. We're giving those away because we're very excited. That means drink our beer.
All right, so if you're watching on Facebook, this is why we call it behind the scenes. Nobody's tripped, nobody's
get a
fallen,
sandwich,
but
guys.
yeah,
Get a
somebody go
sandwich.
behind. Somebody offer. So we are in the studios of Steel City Media, which is Q92.9 FM and Bob FM, and there's actually a gentleman on the air at Bob FM, and we're trying to get him to come out and kind of sneak behind us and get a sandwich, but he just doesn't want to do that.
Yeah.
He has some pretty snazzy shorts on, to be honest with you, at this day.
You need to get a sandwich, Jerad, please.
It
Yeah.
looks amazing.
It's
It
Ernie
absolutely
Ritchie's
looks amazing.
sausage.
Yeah.
It's the best. It's the
And
best.
now that Leslie's giving us bread back, we
Listen.
can go crazy.
Right.
We are going to go crazy.
Don't you feel better now?
I do.
Because
I have
she
no
scares-
guilt.
Isn't that a movie? Leslie gave us bread
Groove
back.
back. Leslie got.
Leslie got a groove back.
You don't even watch movies. The fact
I
that you
know.
that
I know
is
titles though.
killing me.
I know titles.
John, I'll let you intro this next guest because you were all up in it and excited that he was. Not that I wasn't excited, but he was like, you know who we're bringing on? I was like, wow, how did that come to be?
Right. So it's funny because I saw this gentleman on the news a lot in representing Pittsburgh, and you know we love people who represent Pittsburgh so positively. So Jerad just happened to be on LinkedIn, and I was a creeper, and I said I'd love to have you on our podcast. And then he has people, so a people person messaged us and said, hey, we'd love to get Jerad on your podcast. So Jerad from Visit Pittsburgh, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
It's
It's fantastic to be here. I'm really excited.
Well,
Thank you.
I would have loved for you to seen how the porch tour goes down because Monica was at her first porch tour the other week, and not only did we roast, I know you heard Rachel's sweating story, but the fact is the porches are fun because people, first of all, it's cool that people are wrapping their arms around and collecting items for Zachary's mission, but it's just a good party, you know, and the band is in the yard playing and things like that. So a little lower key, but you're an official dude, so we gave you kind of like an official play space here. Did you play the Pac-Man yet? We have the
Piece of bread.
Mancini's bread toasting in the
Yeah.
pretzel oven here. I mean, we rolled out some red carpet for you.
You did. We're here in Rachel's kitchen, and
Yes.
I want to compliment Rachel and say how much I admire the fact that you have a margarita machine on your
you.
counter in your kitchen.
Yes.
As a parent, maybe that's how you get through the weekends.
There
I don't
you
know.
go. You figured me out quickly. That was easy. And the carbs. Carbs and margaritas. That's me.
So, Jerad, first of all, CEO, president of Pittsburgh, Visit Pittsburgh, right?
Vice.
No,
Is it not
you're
vice?
right.
You're
Visit
the
Pittsburgh,
full.
yeah.
I gotta
Listen,
go off
I don't
my-
just deal with weak people on LinkedIn. I go president, CEO, Rach. That's who I
You
creep
just,
on.
like, nudged me.
But
you are good. You're the female creeper. But I have actually a couple. Go ahead.
no.
I'll wait.
So, originally from Pittsburgh or came here? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, not originally from Pittsburgh. I adopted Pittsburgh, but I, like many people, fell in love with the city. I actually have lived here twice. So I
Right.
lived here in the early part of this century, moved away for about 12 years, and then moved back in 2019. And, you know, like a lot of people, you get tethered to the city, you fall in love with it. It's got so much character, so much charm. The people are amazing. So I love it. I certainly consider it home.
Okay.
Okay, you just downplayed that though. Why did you leave Pittsburgh and come back? I mean, you were in some impressive places and did some impressive things.
I've been fortunate for sure. I've worked in tourism development for a long time.
Yes.
More than some of your staff here have been alive. But
Even me, right? Even me.
including you. But no, I worked for Visit Pittsburgh up until 2008. Then I had the opportunity to go overseas. I worked for Dubai Tourism in the UAE, and then I did some strategic work for the Saudi Commission for Tourism, Abu Dhabi Tourism, and then I finished my GCC tour in Bahrain with the Economic Development Board. It was
How
exciting.
does that even happen? So you were a general sales manager initially, is that right? With Visit Pittsburgh. So
Yeah.
was it something that you were kind of like, I don't know, I want to see what else is out there, explore more? Because I'm sure your whole industry has grown tremendously since you started.
Oh, incredibly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, it was a simple situation of effort and luck coming together
Okay.
at the same time. I worked for, as you mentioned, I worked for Visit Pittsburgh, representing the city for conventions and trade shows, trying to
Sure.
get more of those types of events to come here to the city. Dubai Tourism was launching a similar division right about the time I was thinking of trying to do something in a larger market, something
Sure.
with more challenges. And our industry, even though the travel industry is massive around the globe, it's actually still relatively small from a network standpoint.
So everybody knows each other.
We know each other,
Sure.
exactly. So
Yeah.
one person led to another, and the next thing you know, I was in Dubai.
That's
So
how
it
we
was-
got our beer, actually, that
Wow.
story. But so is it, like
great.
when you look at Ron and Monica, when they started radio or TV stations, they started small, then they kind of keep increasing their market size. So in someone in the tourism, did they start at visit VermilionOhio.com and then keep going to bigger markets? You bet you have to,
Yeah.
in order to increase your responsibilities, I guess you kind of have to move around the world, right?
You do, but a lot of people that work in tourism organizations anywhere in the world are typically, even some of the markets that you just talked about, they are typically very much attached to those markets.
Okay.
The people, especially at our organization at Visit Pittsburgh, we've got so much tenure in the organization because these are Pittsburghers who love Pittsburgh. They love promoting the city. They love talking about the city. And you find that in most markets around the country for sure, but even around the world, where people who are in these organizations, they're there because they're passionate about that market.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, if you want to move up or move to other challenges, you have to look at different opportunities in different places. But most of the time, you're in that organization.
What is it from a Pittsburgh standpoint that obviously having the background helps, right? So it's not like you came in from some market that you have to really figure out Pittsburgh. But what is it that you came back and said, oh, it's grown. I can really, really work with this now?
Well, it was amazing coming back to Pittsburgh
bet.
after 12 years.
This is a good question because this was exactly what I was.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
a good
Thanks,
question.
John.
it's interesting how Pittsburgh has, in that time, Pittsburgh, based on my experience before, was one of those cities, both economically and from a societal standpoint, just kind of, grew at gradual increments.
Functioning. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. It was doing great, making progress in certain areas. Other areas, I think people wanted more progress, etc. When I came back over that time period, the city had just exploded in such a positive way.
Yeah.
From an economic diversification standpoint, so many more types of companies were here. A lot was going on the societal front. In 2019 going into 2020, there was a lot going on in societies across the country, of course. And so there was so much really great positive energy, so much excitement about what the future of Pittsburgh had in store for all of us. It was just electrifying. It was so exciting to come back to see what was going on.
Were you
I
able
bet.
to see? I know we typically make fun of the fact that Pittsburgh is about 5 to 10 years behind the times. It takes us forever to change. We're so parochial here. But is it almost? Did you see that when you were looking from the outside in over in Dubai and such, or did you come back and you go like, wow, No, you guys are with the times, or maybe you are behind the times, but it's a good thing that you're a slower pace. Any opinion
That's
like
a good
that at all?
It's so hard to put a city like Pittsburgh in a complete bucket like that.
Okay.
When you look at the city, there is so much progress that's being made. There's so many amazing things that are going on. It's hard to say that the city in its entirety was moving at a slower pace or was pacing behind where we think it should be.
Right.
It's so subjective. It's so subjective depending on what your perspective is, what your involvement is in the local community. It's a great place at the end of the day.
And I think part of it too, as Ron said, as we've had so many different people on, from the Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership, Visit Pittsburgh is actually one entity we've not had the opportunity to talk to a representative, which is why we're so happy to have you on. But I also think that we realized very quickly that we're stronger as a collaboration, right? So it's not going to take just you or just, Jeremy Waldrop or just People's Natural Gas. It's everyone saying, hey, wait a minute, how about this?
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're starting to grow more where, so if we all kind of do this together, we're getting somewhere,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good.
I would say there's no doubt that nothing happens to a level of success without collaboration.
Right.
So, us working with the PDP, the Allegheny Conference, I was with Rich Fitzgerald earlier this week. We're with the mayor's team constantly. We were with Kevin McMahon at the Trust this week as well. Like, there's so many people who are working passionately on the future of this city that it does take us all. It takes everyone working together, making sure that we're representing Pittsburgh and Pittsburghers to the best of our ability. Because so much can happen.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
no
so
doubt.
much can happen.
Just let me say, you're dropping names like you think you know these people, but you're not as good. You're not.
I
you're not as
Googled
good-
them. I Googled them before we
Tell
came
them.
on.
You're not as good as you think you are because you said Rich Fitzgerald, where Rachel calls him Ace and gets
Ace.
away with it.
He doesn't like it.
Yeah.
He
he
doesn't
he
like
looks
it, but
sideways. He goes, "Hey, it's Rachel."
I can't help it because
But-
he makes me laugh when he makes
But
the
the
face.
do you know, I like what you were talking about, and do we have data on, we consider Steubenville, Wheeling as part of the Visit Pittsburgh because they benefit from what we do here, or we benefit from them being so close, right? Do we have data on how far Visit Pittsburgh's reach, helps like surrounding counties and such?
Sure. So we go beyond Steubenville. We go all the way to the UK and Ireland.
Okay. That's
Our-
where the podcast is next week.
going live from London. That's awesome.
That's it.
And that's actually how we connected, right? It was over our publicity of the new British Airways route coming back. And so that's
Yes, that's right.
That's
Yeah.
what had originally started our conversation. But so one of the often misconceptions, or maybe just the biggest unknowns, is that, especially for people who are from Pittsburgh, they don't realize that Pittsburgh is a tourism destination. They don't realize that people actually come here for vacation. And we always go back, we harken back to 2019 levels of travel and tourism, because that's the aspiration that we're all building back to. But in that year, we had over 33 million people come into Allegheny County for tourism purposes.
Wow.
Over 33 million people. $6.5 billion was spent by those 33 million people in our local economy, in our hotels, our restaurants, our retail shops, and so forth. It is a massive, massive industry. It employs over 44,000 people just in Allegheny County alone. So it is a massive industry within the overall economy of the county. But with that being said, a lot of people don't necessarily see it. Like you see oil and gas, you can see what's going on there.
Yes.
You see the financial
That's a good point. Yeah.
industry because you see the names on the buildings and so forth. But you drive by hotels, you drive by restaurants, you see the amazing things going on in the cultural district. You see the Gateway Clipper going up and down. You go to Kennywood. Like all of these things, people don't recognize that there's an industry there. There's an industry that employs a lot of people.
Or how do we support that more? I think that for we always joke that we can speak for Pittsburgh because we've been here, right? I've been here 46 years. I can say what our downfalls are because I'm part of that.
Right.
And I think what I look at is, as we jokingly said to Ron Smiley, like, never have I ever in Pittsburgh. I have never been to the
Blockhouse.
Fort Pitt Museum.
Oh, right.
Why have I not been there? And I keep thinking maybe I was on a field trip and don't remember because I was a kid and didn't think about it. But there are so many times that we go, I'll get to it. We're so lucky to live among the Carnegie Museum and we don't go because we think, well, it's here. But the more you support it, the more that's enhancing that industry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you haven't been, I'm assuming you've been to the Warhol Museum.
Of course, yeah.
Largest museum in North America dedicated to a single artist. Andy Warhol is a global icon. Pittsburgh, right?
Right.
And he's kind of at the top of the pyramid when it comes to well-known artists and so forth.
Sure.
From a cultural standpoint, people come here because they want to see the Warhol. But you're right, there are so many other things that you can do here that people just don't think about.
Yeah. Well, and I remember we did some work with Visit Pittsburgh years ago, and there was some number that they quoted that Pittsburgh is something about a 6 or 8 hour drive from 75% of the America's population or something
Right.
like that. That was, they used to say. So that's the cool part, is that when you have your event here, that you can basically have people drive. It's great to fly, but there is so much of the population.
Oh, he
that's
wants you to
within
fly.
Which
I was
it's
gonna say,
within
are
a
you gonna
5
go
or
into
6
that?
hour driving. But yeah, so let's get to why we did connect. So British Airways, talk about how you're involved in that and what that
amazing.
does to our economy.
Sure.
It's a status symbol. It's kind of like cachet, I guess. Like, oh yeah, we have that. But in the meantime, it means business and money coming in and out.
It does. It does. It's if you look at it from a Pittsburgh perspective or even a regional perspective, it connects all of us to the entire world through one stop. You can fly from Pittsburgh into London Heathrow, and then the network that British Airways has around the world, you can get pretty much anywhere just by one stop. So that's huge for us as residents. The other opportunity is that it gets people from the UK, Ireland, and other parts of Europe on a plane coming into this region and starting a vacation or ending a vacation, which happens a lot. People come to Pittsburgh, they'll spend 2 or 3 days here, they'll go up to Laurel Highlands, check out Falling Water, which of course is another globally recognized UNESCO World Heritage Site. They'll spend a few days here, they'll go up to the Great Lakes, they'll drive over to Chicago, or they'll go up to Niagara Falls, they'll come back. There's such a regional pull for people to come in and really experience everything that's on offer here. A lot of people want to come, and they've been to New York a lot of times, they've been to Florida, but then all of a sudden they still want another taste of Americana. Where else would you want to go than Pittsburgh? I mean, we have it all.
Right.
We've got food, we've got beer, we've got distilleries, we've got art, we've got culture, we've got sports. It goes on. Like, people are so excited about coming to Pittsburgh.
How long was that conversation? What was that conversation like before it came to fruition? Because I'm sure it wasn't like a, hey, let's do this, and next week it's here.
With British Airways?
Yes.
Well, we're going to give credit to Pittsburgh International Airport. Christina Casotis and her team
Amazing,
have done a fantastic job.
We need her on this podcast. We
Oh,
haven't had her yet.
for sure, for sure. Everything that they're doing at the airport is truly remarkable. Beyond just making sure we're continually expanding our routes, our air routes, both domestically and internationally, but also everything they're doing with the airport modernization program. We're going to have one of the most advanced modern airports anywhere in the country in just a couple of years, or 3 years, I suppose. So it's really exciting, everything that they've done there, what they're doing with Neighborhood 91, with converting the power generation for the airport to be natural gas and
What's
electric.
the Neighborhood 91?
So Neighborhood 91 is an advanced manufacturing site right there at the airport, which ties into their expanded cargo facilities. So what they're doing is they're working with companies who are working in advanced manufacturing, having items manufactured right there on the airport property, because they've got lots of acreage out there. So they very wisely use that space to say, look, you can manufacture products right here, plug into our massive logistical hub, which they're continuing to expand, and you can get your products anywhere in the world very easily.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's tremendous.
It seems so simple, right? But yeah.
But it takes a lot of doing.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Wow.
Are we signing, meaning the Western Pennsylvania, are we signing you to a long-term contract?
Yeah, how long are you
Where,
here?
you know, like, you know, 'cause
10 years?
I don't think we
12
need
years?
to, we can't possibly lose you again. So.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
very kind. That's very kind. Yeah. No, I'm here for a while. I actually just bought a home. I closed 2 weeks ago in downtown.
Congratulations.
So I'm very excited.
Yeah,
I'm
downtown. John's jealous.
I'm a
I am
downtowner.
jealous,
You're a
yeah. I'm
downtowner.
close. I'm in
Yeah.
Brighton Heights. I'm close.
Yeah.
I love
Nice.
it. I love it. I love being able to walk to everything.
Yes.
You know, I
Yeah.
walked out, got my coffee this morning, jumped in the car, and came up here to see
Yeah.
you all. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
I love it
Yes.
as well. And as a matter of fact, we did a walking tour of Brookline the other week, and I'm like, wow, how do I
Yeah.
not know
Every
this
community
is-
we go into, we're like, this is where we're going to come next. Like, it's so, and
You've
I
got
go,
choice.
Brookline is the gem for
my
me.
husband keeps joking, you know, once our children are all out, my husband says, well, you know, I think we'll move a little bit more north, get some more acres. And I was like, well, I'll be in East Liberty. So we'll see what that works like. He's like, I'm not
It's a
coming
long
with
distance
you.
relationship.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what the
Yeah.
secret to these relationships are
Yes,
sometimes. Yeah.
that's it. That's it. Jared, thank you so
Jared.
much. I'm sorry it took so
Yeah.
long for you to come on. Would love to have you back almost on the Leslie Bonci schedule where it's quarterly, because there's so much to talk about from a standpoint of Visit Pittsburgh. So thank you for your time.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. I had a quick tie. I actually had a sandwich on PTL a few months ago at about 9 o'clock in the morning. It had French fries on it. And as Leslie was talking, I was like, I wonder what she would have thought of my
Don't look her in
French
the eye.
fry
That's all.
sandwich
Don't look her
for
in the eye.
breakfast. But
Yeah.
it was honestly amazing.
Amazing.
really, really
Right.
good.
Of
Yeah.
course it was.
Yeah, that's the coolest part. She doesn't shame. She's like the left ear and the right ear. She's talking
Right.
in both sides. Go ahead, eat it. Don't worry.
That's right. That's right. Where does everybody find you and Visit Pittsburgh, more importantly, so that they know all of the amazing things happening?
You can find us, Visit Pittsburgh's everywhere. So all of our digital channels, all the social media channels, our website. One thing I will mention quickly, we would like to get residents to go to our site and check us out on digital media right now. We've got 2 initiatives going on. One is a tourism rebranding effort. So we're going to be relaunching a new tourism brand at the beginning of next year. And our long-term tourism master plan project are underway. We want to hear from residents and what they see the future
cool.
of tourism is.
That's
There's
awesome.
prizes as well. So if they go on, it's a 2 or 3 minute survey. We ask them to do it. It's on our website. And there's prizes for people who participate.
We'll share it.
Great.
And then
We'll go on
then
multiple
we'll collect
times
the
and win
prizes.
It's Millie's ice cream, so you might already have access.
Look at them. We already have it. Yeah, I love it. I'm such a North Sider.
All right, you ready
Jared,
for our
question of the day.
Go for it.
Go. You do it.
No, you could do it.
No,
If you
you
were a
could.
fly on the wall, were you listening? If
I
you were a
was.
fly on the wall anywhere, where could it be? And you can't repeat an answer. I just threw that in there.
Oh, okay. So I'm pretty nebby.
Yeah,
I've
same.
adopted it. I'll be sitting at a bar or in a restaurant, and I'll find myself leaning over, just kind of going, "What are you guys talking about?"
Okay.
So I'm basically a fly on the wall wherever I go.
Okay. All right.
So
Fair
be
enough.
careful if you see me out and you're having a conversation that you want to keep private. Probably don't want to sit
That's
next
the way
to me.
my daughter. She has like a little radar that goes up around.
Oh,
her head,
she
just
does. She
looks-
gets
it
scuttlebutt.
listens around the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny.
That
That's
is so
funny.
awesome.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
you
for your
you.
time.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Bring on our musician one
All
last
right.
time. He's in our 811 call before you dig studio
Yeah.
green room.
If anybody does have to leave, we can let you.
but
Actually,
please
the doors
eat.
work it out, but
eat.
please eat.
We have Ernie Ritchie
You don't have
sausage.
to
This is
feel
going to go to
constrained to
waste.
stay.
Well, it won't because the radio folks will definitely.
All right. So
Eat it.
our next guest is. Listen, it's not the pillow guy. That's the bottom line.
Or Cole Swindell. It's not the pillow guy. Like, are you glad that was your big announcement? Like, you're not the pillow guy? Oh my God. We're gonna chat with you for a minute before you play us out
Yes.
here. So we joked with
You
you,
can
Mike.
grab either one of those. I think is good.
We joked with you ahead of time that Paige, who works on the script portion of the podcast, she pulls all the information, and she, in a panic, texted me and said, "I cannot find one thing on Matt Swindell." And I was like, "Well, did you ask Tracy? Because she's the one who booked him." And then Tracy was like, "Oops, it's Mike." So there you go.
all
So
right.
we need to know a little bit more about you. Are you a Pittsburgher? Were you born here?
I was born in Fort Lauderdale, but I came up when I was probably a little after 1 year old. My
okay.
parents were on a traveling sales crew, so that's how they met. My dad's
That's
a
so
Newfies
cool.
from Canada and all that stuff.
Is
so-
that right?
Ah, I love that. That's cool.
But mainly Pittsburgher. You know?
Okay.
Okay.
How did your music career start?
I started young. Well, I was a singer when I was younger. So like my Uncle Charles is an opera singer for the Civic Light Opera, and also a teacher at the Pittsburgh Public Schools, and just kind of grew up singing.
Wow. So I saw in the notes that they pulled together. You sang from what? New York to Nashville?
Yeah, I was in Nashville for a year in 2017. So I moved down there, did my thing in New York in 2012. So
Okay.
for the summer, it was a lot of fun. It's hot. It was
Like
really
you just
hot.
took
Yeah.
is this one of those
It was a
things
heat
where you
wave.
took your guitar and just kind of traveled and sang
Yeah,
in the
I
corners?
moved in Gallatin, Tennessee, so like I commuted probably about a 40-minute drive back and forth. But I met a lot of cool people and just like, really cool people and just played. I played the Bluebird, Cafe Coco.
Really? Yeah.
My dad played in the
Did a lot of writing down there, so like I had just put out an album with my band, the Tilt Room, and kind of went down there to write and gather myself. So.
It kind
Wow.
of centers you, I guess.
A little bit, yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah,
it's basic life.
Oh yeah, I mean, and you have to work and then go, play and
Yeah.
write.
Yeah.
So I was finding time. I just, kind of reinvented myself. Came up, my album American Bittersweet. I did. I just wrote the songs. My drummer's a teacher at Cal U, so I ended up one of the professors, Greg Davis. He's an engineer there. He's a really awesome guy. When I came back, he let me come in for about 2 sessions, and I just banged out 17 songs and made a demo. So I'm in the studio now with my drummer Justin and James Mason with Sweet Earth. He's been helping me out on the bass, and yeah, it's exciting. So it's Tonic Studios in McKeesport.
How about that?
Yeah.
That is great.
Wow.
Often we've had, I'm trying to think, I think it's Old Whitetail, right? She did the Nashville thing and then came back to Pittsburgh. A couple people have done that. What have you seen as far as the music scene, as far as Pittsburgh expansion?
I
Are you
think
happy
Pittsburgh-
with it?
Yeah, actually, I feel like it's growing more and more. It's very eclectic. There's a lot of different musicians and artists as well, like just everyone. I mean, it's really like kind of well-rounded here. Absolutely. I think, just coming from Nashville and New York was about 10 years ago, but yeah, Pittsburgh's definitely grown
I know.
exponentially. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, when you go to Nashville, you figure like, well, everybody's singing somewhere in
Yeah.
breakfast. You go to coffee.
Yeah.
We went down to Willie, Rachel's husband,
right.
and say, "Oh, there's this cool guitarist at this coffee shop at 8
Yeah,
o'clock
I mean,
in the morning."
it's all the time.
And
yeah.
and I think like, well, that coffee shop singer is probably the level of a midday singer here in Pittsburgh. Used to be that way, but I think it's different now. I think that the Pittsburgh entertainment scene is much more talented. Than
Oh
we give it
yeah,
credit for.
yeah. I mean, it's like maybe overall there's a lot. I mean, people kind of flock there from all around the world, but
Sure.
it doesn't mean there's lack of talent here. Like
Yes.
it's still
Right.
there. You know what I
That's a
mean?
great
Yeah,
point.
yeah. So,
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and I think we've learned over the years that so many pioneers of music, especially, started here, but didn't have the means of how do you get that word out? So
Yeah.
it's sort of this kept secret because they didn't know how to portray it.
Yeah, it's right. Like my drummer's in a band called The Elemental. He was in the Tilt Room for a while, and he's opened up for the Clarks. They did. I was at the Oaks Theater last weekend. So they did. It's actually a really cool place. So
Yeah.
it was
Well
really,
done
really
there,
cool.
right?
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
really wild walking in there. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
they've done a good
Yeah.
job at it. You could tell
yeah.
that they were performers that created a
Yeah.
space for
Mhm.
performers.
yeah, it's excellent.
Yeah, it's totally cool. So, what's the one venue that's out of your reach right now in Pittsburgh? Whether it's a little hole in the wall or a big venue like used to be whatever they call that field, football
Starling.
field thing, and you know, what's the one venue that you just would really like to just go play there?
I like to play stage AE.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm
That's
getting
a
like
good one.
a band together. There's a violinist in Ohio I'd like to recruit. I don't know. I'm a solo guy, so like, but I make a lot of noise for one guy. But when it's the band's together, it's really cool. It's
Well,
really nice.
the song that we are hearing in between the guests, it's cool. It has like a folk feel, but a punk feel as well. So
that's
is
kind of
that-
how I started. I was probably 15. I started a punk band and metal, and then I kind of, evolved. I just kept going. That's kind of what the next song I'm gonna play you is about. It's like about not giving up and just steadfast, So
All
because
right.
you evolve that way, you learn,
Yes.
you grow as a person and a musician. So
You do.
yeah.
Great point. Where
Well,
does
you-
everybody find you, follow you,
So
all
yeah,
that good stuff?
I'm on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram at official Mike Swindell or Mike Swindell official, and then I have a website, mikeswindell.net.
You're not quite Ron Smiley status where we have to walk in front of you and say Mike Swindell's coming, but
Yeah.
you're getting there with your official
Right.
status.
So we'll
I
see,
love
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I
But
love it.
we are
Oh, I
going to
did
ask
that.
you.
Sorry, I didn't
No.
want to do the underscore thing, so I like
I
look
get
up.
it.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah. So
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
let's do the
Yeah.
official.
Yeah, right.
Big time.
We
guy,
are
Johnny
going to
Big
ask
Time.
you to sign an agreement that you do not give away the bathroom code to the fourth floor.
Oh, that was
here at
brutal.
Steel City
Yeah, I got
Media.
locked out. I was like
Yeah.
amazed. I was like, am I on the fourth floor? Or do I go to
realized
the
you
second?
were
Oh, I was sweating out there. I'm like, I actually, yeah, it was brutal.
Well, what's funny is Rachel and I have now
Embarrassing.
made a rule like, do not leave the studio without your phone. Yeah, just because.
Well, I didn't have anyone's number.
Yeah,
so I
right,
was just saying,
right,
I'm like,
right,
should
right.
I hit up
You're like-
Tracy? Like,
but
this
if you
is
do,
embarrassing.
if you don't have a phone,
Like,
it
am I
doesn't-
gonna
you
even
can't
be in
pound on
here?
the
Like-
door. Yeah,
Yeah, like
that's
he
so
just
funny.
left his guitar and
That is so funny. Typical us. All right, question of the day. You heard it. Where would you want to be a fly on the wall?
I was
What
thinking of
combo?
this. So like, I'm a big Bill Burr is one of my favorite comedians. So like, if he was,
Oh yeah.
he's a big trash talker. So if he was talking, just like arguing with some Jagoff or whatever, like,
Yeah.
I'd be like, I just want to hear how he approaches that and like deals
That's a
with
good
Yeah.
one.
with that
That's a
person.
good
Shuts
one.
him down. Shuts him down. Sorry.
Yeah.
And by the way, you gave us, for those listening to the podcast, go back and look at the Facebook page from Saturday because you gave us a very Merry Christmas, you filthy Jagoff t-shirt. That was pretty awesome.
We'll
You-
fight over who's wearing
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And so the song we're about to hear, oh, we did tell everybody where to find you, right? Did we do that? Okay. The song we're about to hear is what?
It's called My Awakening. I wrote this one probably like about 9 months or so ago, but I'm recording in the studio with a full band.
Sweet. So if
All
you
right, we'll
don't
do our
mind giving
thank
us a
yous
little
and
bit
then-
of a music bed, and then you can kick right into it while we give our thank you. So thank you to, of course, Tracy and Colin and Monica and Paige, who all literally were in panic last night as
They
we
were.
were changing our venue. And thank you
They
to
were
Steel
calm
City
and cool.
Media, the owners here, for allowing us to use Rachel's Kitchen.
Yeah, it's a great kitchen, isn't it? I'm glad I could have you all. And thank you to all of the patrons of the Zachary's Mission and the People's Gas Porch Tour. We're serious. We're going to continue this throughout the week. Please, follow our social media so that you can see, how you can donate. You can Venmo us at YaJagoff Podcast. You can send items. We can post a wish list from Amazon. You can send Amazon gift cards. Anything is helpful. And again, these are for Zach packs for families who are experiencing longer than usual overnight stays at multiple hospitals for children for their needs. So we've been collecting all summer long for Zachary's Mission. And basically, we're going to give you the prizes from like Millie's and Leo Carius Oil and Mary Mac Bakehouse and Yin's Lids and Sinbin Creations and Ernie Ritchie Sausage. Maybe we'll throw you something from there. Mancini's, The Ugly Dumpling, and the Mullet Robinson, and Grandpa Joe's, John's favorite candy store.
And
So-
North Country Brewing.
North Country Brewing.
Yeah.
With our beer. It has to be our beer, though, you people.
Right. And we have to say thank you to our guests, Jerad and Leslie. Jerad, listen, that was a good creepy find, wasn't it?
You are a
Yeah.
creeper. John is the ultimate creeper.
And thank you to Leslie Bonci. Always a pleasure. And great to see Ron Smiley again in his
Love him.
PTL shirt. If you see him in his PTL shirt today,
Walk
take
away.
a selfie.
No.
No, take a selfie and tag us. So,
just kidding.
and of course, thank you to our musician who is going to take us out with a song. Yeah?
And can I thank Rorich?
Yeah.
All right, Rorich. Do you know what the letters MSRP mean? We usually hear it fast at the end of commercials, but Rorick Honda takes them seriously because it means manufacturer suggested retail price. That means they don't increase car prices to make a fast buck during a time of inflation. Rather, they can build relationships and sell cars. Visit RorickHonda.com for all of your vehicle needs. And now,
Here
Mike
we go.
Swindell.
Oh, hey, no worries. I'm a good mic holder. I was a good flashlight holder for my grandpap, too.
This one's called My Awakening. This will be a single I'll be releasing in the fall. Now stuck to my lines, now I'm going off script. Give me my voice, no I'm not done. I'm not done by a mile. No, I'm not giving up like that yet. Yeah, I'm broke down and tired, but I hold my head high as I look to the skies. No, I'm not done. I'm not done by a mile. No, I'm not giving up like that yet. Yeah, we'll see how it goes, and I'll tell you the rest when I know my line. Yeah, the spotlight is on me and I'm ready to shine. Let's put on a show. Yeah, the curtain will drop, but our tales won't live on through our creation. No, I'm not giving up like that. No, I'm not giving up like that. No, I'm not giving up like that. No, I'm not giving up. Yeah, I fought like hell, my heart's beating all the odds, and I broke out of my shell. No, I'm not done. I'm not done by a mile. No, I'm not giving up like that yet. Now let's cut to the chase. I'm living on borrowed time, and it's time to embrace all that comes my way. I'm not done by a mile. No, I'm not giving up like that yet. Yeah, we'll see how it goes, and I'll tell you the rest when I know my line. Yeah, the spotlight is on me and I'm ready to shine. Let's put on a show. Yeah, the curtain will drop, but our tales won't live on through our creation. No, I'm not giving up like that. 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 Oh, I'm not giving up like that. No, I'm not giving